So, welcome to each and every one of you from whichever part of the universe you are at today. Welcome to another edition of Mind Architectures from another point of view where we have the conversation from the seat of a therapist. And often many people we talk to always talk about they just simply want to be happy. So, to be happy is the goal because if you're not happy, it's not worth it. So today we're going to take today's framework from the psychology and neuroscience of what we call living well, happiness and wellness. So welcome. In today's world, people are achieving more than ever before. There's more technology, more opportunities, more access, more information, yet despite all of this, so many people are still asking, why don't I feel fulfilled? Why am I constantly stressed? Why does happiness feel temporary? Because many people have learned how to chase success, but never learned how to build well-being. And maybe one of the most important realizations in life is simply this. Success without happiness eventually feels empty. And I think many of us have gotten to that point, which is why we're on this framework today. Because today's world celebrates performance, productivity, hustle, and achievement. But psychology and neuroscience remind us of something really powerful. The human mind and body were never designed to live in constant stress and emotional disconnection. So today, from another point of view, we're talking about how to intentionally build happiness, resilience, emotional balance, mental strength, focus, well-being, and of course, to sustain high performance. We're going to use a few scientifically proven tools from our toolbox, positive psychology, a little bit of neuroscience, of course, mindfulness, cognitive psychology, and a few emotional wellness frameworks for your benefit. Because maybe to be happy is not a luxury. Maybe to be mentally healthy, emotionally balanced, and fulfilled is the real definition of success today. So we're going to start with our first framework, why happiness requires intentional training. One of the most important things neuroscience teaches us is this. Our brains are very much trainable. Your brain is trainable. The human brain constantly adapts based on attention, repetition, emotional experiences, and habits. But here's the challenge. The brain naturally pays more attention to danger, stress, problems, criticism, and negative experiences. And our share today is that this is what we call negative bias, and we see it all around us, especially in our media. It is evolved to help humans survive threats. But in modern life, if left unmanaged, negativity bias can create chronic stress, anxiety, pessimism, emotional exhaustion, and of course, unhappiness. So today, on another point of view, the good news, positive psychology shows we can intentionally train the mind towards gratitude, optimism, resilience, emotional balance, and well-being. Because happiness is not accidental. It is practice. And this is something that we share so very often. So in our next section, we're going to go into our traditional viral story moment. The man who won everything. There's a story about a man who achieved nearly everything he thought would make him happy. Career success, check. Recognition, check. Money, check. Status, check. But privately, like so many of us, he still felt emotionally empty. One day, during a quiet moment, he admitted, "I built a successful life, but I forgot to build a meaningful one." And that realization changed him. He began slowing down, reconnecting with people he loved, practicing gratitude, journaling, such an important practice that we all recommend, prioritizing well-being, and becoming emotionally present again. And eventually, he said something really profound that came to him. "I spent many years chasing happiness externally when many of the tools were already inside of me," and it's something that we echo to so many people we sit with. This is one of the deepest lessons of modern psychology. Happiness is not only found in achievement, it is built through daily emotional habits. So let's talk a little bit about confirmation bias and actually training your mind. We're going to walk you through a session here. One of the most powerful psychological concepts connected to happiness is confirmation bias. The brain looks for evidence supporting what we repeatedly believe. If someone constantly says, "Nothing good ever happens to me," the brain begins filtering experiences through that said belief. But if people intentionally focus on growth, progress, gratitude, opportunity, and resilience, the brain now starts noticing more positive emotional experiences as well. This does not mean toxic positivity. It means intentional perspective training of your brain. So of course, we're going to provide you with a performance tool to start off with. And our first performance tool, our happiness tool, is what we call the evidence shift. Every evening ask, what went right today? What strengths of mine did I utilize? What positive moments did I overlook? This retrains the brain towards what we call emotional balance, which is a big part of facilitating your internal happiness. So let's talk in this section about building an attitude of gratitude, because it's a phrase that we hear so frequently now today, and it's very well used because it is so effective. Gratitude is one of the most scientifically supported happiness practice in society. Gratitude is scientifically supported and it's significant as a tool. Research shows gratitude improves mental health, emotional resilience, relationships, optimism, sleep quality, and overall well-being, because gratitude shifts focus from what is missing to what still holds value. And in neuroscience, gratitude attracts and activates brain regions that are connected to reward, emotional regulation, and positive emotional processing. So what the brain produces in terms of neuroplasticity is dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins, and serotonin, which are positive neutrons that we all need. So our second tool we're going to share with you today is what we call the gratitude reset. So write down 3 things currently today that you are grateful for and why they emotionally mattered. And not only major events, we're talking about really small everyday moments that we can take for granted, that we really have a lot of gratitude for. So for peace, that one peaceful moment, laughter, that time of the day that you laughed so hard, support when you really needed it from that member of your circle, progress, even if it's the 1% every day, and kindness, because kindness does so much to light up our lives. And of course, stillness, because a big part of our balance comes in moments of stillness. So happiness often lives quietly in very ordinary moments. And this is really what we call our gratitude reset, because it builds the foundation for our happiness simply to grow. So often in counseling, we talk about journaling and positive psychology because it's such a powerful activity. Journaling, I want to clarify today, because there are often misconceptions. Why am I writing it down? But journaling is more than writing thoughts down. It is emotional processing through taking it from your brain and actually writing it down to understand it. So many people carry stress internally without reflection. So what journaling helps to organize, it helps to organize your thoughts, because you must organize your thoughts in order now to take that pen and translate it onto paper. So it's a really formidable exercise. Journaling also helps to organize your emotions, your experiences, your goals, and of course, the thoughtful part of journaling increases your self-awareness. So positive psychology journaling seeks to increase your resilience, your clarity, your emotional regulation, and of course, your intentional living. And John Maxwell often says that your life is way too valuable not to live intentionally and to manage it well. So our third tool we're going to share is high performance journal. What is a high performance journal? So the daily ask is, what energized me today? Conversely, what drained me emotionally? What did I learn? What do I want to improve tomorrow? You see, because self-awareness acts to create emotional growth through our journey of life, which is so very necessary on our journey to happiness and fulfillment. So this section, we're going to talk about mindfulness and the power of presence. Many people today are mentally everywhere except the present moment. They are thinking about future stress, past mistakes, pressure from another situation, comparisons that compare very little to what they do. And there are endless distractions because we are constantly highly distracted. Mindfulness teaches us about our presence. Without understanding our presence, there is very little peace and so much disturbance. So presence is really the ability to experience life intentionally in the current moment, which is what we all need. So neuroscience research shows mindfulness improves your emotional regulation, your focus, your stress reduction, cognitive flexibility, and of course your nervous system recovery, because healthy nervous system often, when trained, decreases the interval of stress. So one more tool we're going to share today is what we call the 1-minute recess, and it's really very useful, and you can do this several times a day. And I often do it actually in the car, because I turn down the radio and I sit in silence and I try to be present and I try to reset on my way to something else. I often also do it in between meetings because it's important to leave the last meeting behind and show up in your presence for the current meeting. So a 1-minute recess is simply pause, breathe deeply, and in that breathing pattern, that breathing recess, you notice your breathing, notice your surroundings, notice your body, and notice the present moment. Even 1 mindful minute calms the nervous system. So this is a tool that I encourage so many of you when we sit, when we get on our podcasts, when we get on our webcasts. The 1-minute recess is so necessary to have during your day. So as a segue, we're going to move on to our next section, which is really self-care, recovery, and high performance. One of the greatest myths in high performance culture is believing rest is weakness, but neuroscience proves the opposite. Recovery improves your focus, your memory, your emotional control, your creativity, your resilience, and your performance. The brain and body requires recovery to function optimally. Self-care is not selfish. It is what we refer to as your psychological maintenance, which resets you for high performance. In our performance recovery model, what we really try to do is we try to help you to protect a few things. Because remember, your energy is not infinite. You work to build your positive energy. So just as you build it, it's also important to protect it. And this is how you protect it consistently. You protect your sleep. You protect it through movement and exercise. You protect it through nutrition. You protect it through emotional recovery. You protect it through healthy boundaries. And of course, we make the distinction between boundaries and walls. Boundaries are healthy, walls are unhealthy. So healthy boundaries are very necessary. And also, meaningful downtime. Downtime is so very necessary in our current day because burnout is not a badge of honor. Sustainable wellness creates sustainable success. The more healthy you are, the more well you are, the better you have positioned yourself to maintain success. So, we want to talk a little bit about acts of kindness and positive relationships because our world needs so much more of it to create a happy place. Human beings are biologically wired for connection. So when we talk about our quotient, we talk about our SQ, our social quotient, which is so very important. And at the basis of our social quotient is positive relationships. Positive relationships are one of the strongest predictors of happiness and longevity. And acts of kindness create powerful emotional benefit for both the giver and the receiver. It works mutually for me and for you. So helping others activates brain systems connected to what we call reward, meaning, and emotional fulfillment. It closes that gap of emotional fulfillment, so it reduces that emptiness you feel inside. If ever you have had a great achievement, the greatness in that achievement really comes from being able to share it with people who you love and who appreciate you and who can feel your joy, people who have supported you. If you went to the fanciest restaurant in the entire world and you sat by yourself and you had a great bottle of wine and a great steak and a great salad, it would be great by itself, but really not so much compared to if you were able to share it, and that would increase what we call your emotional fulfillment. So the daily kindness practice now comes into play where we hold ourselves accountable. Every day, I'm asking you, please encourage someone, express appreciation, listen intentionally, support someone emotionally. Small acts create meaningful, emotional, positive, huge impacts. And this really builds on what we're about to talk about next, which is really meaningful goals and savoring lives. Because happiness is not only comfort. Humans also need meaning and purpose. Meaningful goals create direction, motivation, growth, and fulfillment. And I was having that conversation just this week with my two daughters because of where they are going in life. And I want to say it again because I keep repeating it to them. Meaningful goals create direction, motivation, growth, and fulfillment. But people must also learn to savor those positive experiences, to really, really enjoy them for what they are worth. So slow down just enough to emotionally absorb joy, peace, the beauty that is around us, the connections that we have, and the progress that we are making. Because life is not only happening after the next achievement, life is happening now. So to be able to stay in your present, to stay grounded, to stay in your current, and enjoy all that life offers at this minute is super important to savoring your positive experiences. So, how do we help savor those positive experiences? Glad you asked. The savoring practice is what we call it. So whenever something positive happens, pause, breathe, fully experience it emotionally. Get the most out of the moment. So hit that pause button, take a deep breath, and inhale it all in beautifully. This strengthens positive emotional memory pathways in the brain. So we don't hold on to negativity, but we really enjoy the positivity, and that increases positive, happy pathways into our brain because our brain really cares about what we do. So this is actually a doing practice that's important. So do not take for granted the small, incremental, positive moments in your day. Celebrate them by hitting the pause button, inhaling, and really enjoying them. So as we close, our final section today, and it's kind of what we share from the seat of a therapist when we're wrapping up a session. You know, to be happy is the goal. And of course, with Mind Architecture, we are performance focused. So we measure performance, which is a little bit of different take in how we go through practices. But to be happy is our goal. Happiness does not mean avoiding struggle, never feeling pain, or constantly feeling positive. Real happiness is deeper. It is more about emotional balance, inner peace, resilience, the meaningful relationships that we're so fortunate to have, our continuous growth, the attitude of gratitude, our well-being, and of course, living intentionally. And maybe, just maybe, the greatest success in life is not only what you achieve externally, but who you become internally. Because eventually, people realize, yes, money matters, yes, success matters, yes, achievement matters, but mental peace and internal happiness matters even more. So joy matters, connection matters, meaning matters, and perhaps to be happy is the truest goal that we can have. So this has been another point of view by Mind Architecture, and we are where psychology, neuroscience, emotional intelligence, resilience, and human performance come together to help people thrive in today's changing world. So if you enjoyed this really happy episode, please be sure to like, do us a huge favor by subscribing to our channel, and please, most importantly, share this with someone who needs the encouragement today. And remember, happiness is not found only in the extraordinary moments. It is built daily through the way we choose to think, we choose to live, we choose to connect, and we choose to grow. So we're so excited, and we look forward to seeing you in our very next episode. So from another point of view, see you in our next frame. Be well, be powerful, be great, be loved by your circle, and most of all, by yourself. Thank you for joining us. Have a great one and have a happy one.